everyone. Welcome to our first Zoom call with TLC of 2021. We are so excited to have everyone join us today. We have 27 participants, so this is a big number. Obviously, the power of gratitude is really important to people, so we're glad that TLC can bring this to our viewers. So all through the pandemic, we've been so blessed to be able to be partnering with TLC and their great group of practitioners to help us through some of the hardest times we've been in our life. And we really appreciate the mental health specialists bringing their professionalism and their knowledge to us. So thank you so much today to Karen Haskell for joining us in the power of gratitude. What we're hoping to learn today is how we improve our overall satisfaction and our overall well-being when we focus on the positive things in our life. And this is what we really need to do during this time. We've got a ways to go through this pandemic, and we're so blessed to be with Karen. And I know Lou's going to jump in and add some things also to this presentation. So thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lisa Honka, and I have a company called Your Key to Senior Living Options. I help seniors find independent assisted memory care communities free of charge. I think we have the next slide. Do we have? So I think at this point, I think we're going to take it away with Karen. Go ahead, and if you'd like to start your presentation, Karen.
Hello. I am so happy to be talking to you about my favorite subject, gratitude. For becoming more grateful has made a big difference in the quality of my life. Before being introduced to the idea of gratitude, I was happy. I told friends I had a good life. But as I reflect on back then, I realized that I was on autopilot often, with a series of routines and schedules, Mondays golf, Tuesdays yoga, Wednesdays something else. And that does make life easier, but I was taking life for granted. I wasn't getting the emotional pleasure that my life warranted. I was happy. I wasn't joyful. I have learned that when I'm grateful, I feel my best self. Not my frustrated self, not my cranky self, not my worried self. These don't feel good. Gratitude connects me with my kind self, my generous self, my spontaneous self, my giving and forgiving self. And I'm engaged with life and joyful. Oh, does that feel good? Today, I'm going to talk about the characteristics of gratitude, its impact on you, and how to increase the gratitude in your life. Let's see how the dictionary defines gratitude. The quality of being grateful. That's not too helpful. Readiness to show appreciation. That's a little bit better. But let me expand on that from my studying gratitude and experiencing it. I would say gratitude impacts positively on the way we see life and interact with it. When we feel good, everything shifts to positive. Think about having dinner with your best friend, and you laugh and you laugh, and all is right with your world. That is a moment to feel gratitude or to feel grateful. Being grateful increases the frequency of feeling positive emotions and connected with life. It's being able to fully experience the moment. What's its impact on you? In gratitude, you open your senses to the world around you, and you feel the impact on you. It's an awareness in the present, not the past where sometimes regrets sit or happy memories sit. You can't change that. Not in the future, where hope sits, but also anxiety may arise. You have no control over your future, but on the present moment, which is the most real and what you can control. A couple of weeks ago, I was in my golf cart taking my weekly trip to the grocery store. It was a nice day. I had made my grocery list. There was no traffic on the road, and I was just enjoying the ride. And suddenly I realized, well, the temperature was so nice. It wasn't too cool. It wasn't too hot. It just was very pleasant. And then I noticed a breeze come through the cart. Oh, that feels so nice. And I looked to my right. The sky was this vivid blue. You know, the blue that makes the white puffy clouds pop. And I said out loud to myself, this is a perfect moment. I am so grateful to be alive. I was totally in the moment and totally connected with the world around me. What about the impact on others? When we feel grateful and we interact with others in a non-judgmental way with positiveness, they feel appreciated. Now 2 people feel good. When we feel ungrateful, people don't feel good around us and they avoid us. I have a friend up in New England. She's one of identical sisters. And when they're walking towards me from a distance, I can't tell them apart. You know, the body is the same shape and the hair color is the same. Often they dress identically. But then as they come into view, I notice that one is smiling. She looks like she can't wait to talk to me. And I feel good looking at her. And I look at the other twin. She has no smile on her face. She doesn't look like she's happy or enjoys the world at all. Who do you think is my friend? We can look at any experience or person in 2 ways, and we control this. The twins are a wonderful example of this. We can look at the world through a sense of lacking. Oh, I need more money to be happy. I need a bigger house to be happy. I need more friends. Or through a sense of plenty and abundance. I have everything I need to be happy. Lacking sees limits. I can't do this. I need that. It's a very small world. Plenty, gratitude sees possibilities. Yes, yes, yes. And your world enlarges. A grateful person in heart energizes us to see the best in people or situations. It encourages us to be alert to good things, relish life, deal with adversity, have less stress, better health. Gratitude is not the result of things that happen to us, good or bad, but an attitude we cultivate and practice. So how do we grow gratitude? First, we have to slow down. You remember the expression, slow down and smell the roses. And the second is to be in the moment. And if you're in the moment and it's positive, feel it, enjoy it, be grateful for it, and use the word grateful. 2 days before Christmas, I was in line at Publix to cash out my groceries. And I was looking around and I observed that the cashier seemed to be singing. That was odd, but I couldn't tell what she was singing. And as I got closer and closer to her, I realized she was singing Christmas music. And as I got even closer, she looked like the happiest person in the world. She was almost dancing as she cashed people out. And as I was level with her, I could tell she was singing, "We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas." And of course, the next line is, "And a Happy New Year." Before she could get to that last line, I jumped in and sang, "And I wish one for you." Where did that come from? I'm singing out loud in Publix. Well, where it came from was my joining this wonderfully happy cashier in her moment of happiness. And I matched it. And here we were, 2 strangers. I didn't know her name. And it was a magical moment. And that moment of gratitude, of connection with another human being, carried me through the rest of the day. The moment I chose light, not dark. And if I had chosen dark, wanting something, needing something, like the negative twin, my view of the situation would have gone something like this. Oh my gosh, the cashier's singing. Singing? Cashiers don't sing. That's probably why the line is moving so slowly. And you know what? She's going to make a mistake. She's going to make a mistake on my order, and it's going to slow things up, and I'm going to end up at customer service. What we notice and choose, what we focus on, expands and grows. First impressions. You go to a party, you don't know many people, so you're desperately looking around for someone to talk to. And you look across the way, and there's just this cheerful person. And you make your way over to her, and you have a delightful conversation. She's interested in you. You share some things in common. And then you move along, and you bump into somebody. And as that somebody turns around, uh-oh, this person does not look happy. And so you avoid this person and keep moving. But you know how parties are. You kind of keep an eye on the people that you've been talking with, and you look across the room to your happy person. You become engaged with her even at a distance. You like her hand gestures. You like the way she throws her head back and she laughs. And you're truly connected with her. And you say, gee, this might be a possible friend for me. And then you look across at Grumpy. And, oh, you don't like the hand gestures. She never laughs. And that reinforces your attitude, your judgment about her, that she's not someone you would want in your life. What we choose to focus on grows and expands. So let's take just a minute and try this out. Sit and take 2 deep breaths, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Think about this morning before you became online. Was there anything that was pleasant, or you liked, or you thought, this is nice? Might have been your first cup of coffee. Now sink into that experience. Feel it a little bit. And ask yourself, is this something you're grateful for? Feels better, doesn't it, when you call it grateful than nice? Now let's go back to yesterday. Think about, was there any situation that, again, you used the word nice, and go back, get that feeling, and say, you know, I didn't really immerse myself in that nice feeling. Try that now, because I think you're going to find that many of the nice things, the pleasant things, are actually things to be grateful for. Your goal is to feel that way more and more, and look for more opportunities to do so. Because the wonderful thing is, you control this. Live in the moment. Look for ways that you are grateful. Choose the language of gratitude, the thoughts of abundance and experience. Be grateful. Seeing the world in gratitude helps you be your best self, makes the world more positive, enriches relationships, and brings joy to you and others. Maya Angelou, a famous American writer and poet, what a wise woman, says it better than anyone. But when I quote her, in your mind, when she says love, substitute the word gratitude. Quote, let choice whisper in your ear, and love murmur in your heart. Be ready, here comes life. Well, life offers us many opportunities to be grateful. But sometimes we have an awful day or an awful week. There's no room for gratitude. You just want to survive. Well, Lucille Karatzis, another TLC counselor, will share some tips for surviving those bad, I'm going to call them crappy, days and moments. And her tips are going to bring you back to normal. And then from normal, you can begin to use the idea of gratitude and bring more joy into your life. Lucille?
Thank you, Karen. That was a really good presentation on moving from just okay to fully being alive and grateful. But as Karen said, sometimes we're not there. We're not at the okay place. And we may need a little bit of help to get us past the stressors that we're experiencing, illnesses, grieving, taking care of someone, things that get in the way of feeling okay. Family stressors, finances, things of that nature. So I'd like to share with you a few tips on how to move from that negative place, that sad place, to an okay place. And then from there, we can move to gratitude. So the first thing is, if you're having a difficult time, it's okay to honor that place. Life doesn't always smell like roses. And so when you're in a bad place, just notice it. Don't let it control you, but notice it and honor it. It's okay to not feel okay some of the time. Secondly, pay attention to your negative self-talk. Our brains pay attention, and the brain reacts to what we feed it. So if we're feeding it negativity, it will stay there. So we can take that negativity and turn it around a little bit. But first we have to notice it. So tip number 2 is notice your negative self-talk. Don't judge it, just notice it. And then you might make a decision to not live there. So we want to break the chain of negativity. We want to stop that feeling of helplessness and hopelessness. Our thoughts affect our feelings. So what we say to ourselves, our body, our brain, our minds, our whole being reacts to that. So if we want to change our thoughts, we are able to do that. We have the ability. Our brain doesn't know the difference between an action and a thought. If I say to myself, I am grateful, I'm feeling okay today, it will start acting that way. So we want to break that chain of negativity. And so one of the exercises I'd like to show you on how to move from that negativity to a place where it's less than crappy. I like Karen's choice of terms there. So we'll borrow a little bit of what Karen said earlier and start with breathing. Anytime you're not in a good place or you want to enhance how you're feeling, start with your breath. So I'll ask you to come along with me and take a nice deep breath. And exhale. That felt good. Let's take another one. And exhale. Next, I'd like you to look around you and find something you can focus on. If you are near a window and you can see some bushes or some trees outside, make that your anchor. If there is something attractive near you, it might be your coffee mug. It might just be some knickknack that you have nearby that has meaning to you. Just focus on that for a moment. Really notice it. This is called being in the moment. Notice if you're looking at a bush or a tree, notice the variation in the colors. Notice the shapes within the item that you're looking at. If it's a coffee mug, does it have something warm in it? If it's a glass of iced tea, notice the ice as it moves along in the glass. Notice the little details. Be fully present there. Notice how the light might reflect on the coffee mug, the knickknack, or the tree. Be in the moment and take another deep breath and allow yourself to breathe in that moment. After you've taken a breath, go back to your anchor. See if there's anything else that you may have missed the first time you looked at it. Different shapes. There might be a shadow. There might be some glare. But really pay attention to what is in the moment. What you have just done is given your brain a 1-minute break. While you were doing that, you weren't thinking about illnesses, finances, problems, stress. You were in that moment. Your brain and your body got a break. When you allow yourself to do that, then you can move from that not so good feeling to noticing the good things in life. The beauty of the presentation that Karen and I did today is that it will be videotaped and will be available on our website. So in a few days. So if you need to go back and do the gratitude talk with Karen again, that will be at your disposal. So now I'd like to pass it back to Lisa to see if she has any questions for us, and invite everyone to either write in the chat box or get our attention one way or another to ask questions. Lisa?
Okay, so thank you so much. I learned a great deal. I hope you all did too. You're inspiring us to take that moment and let our brains rest, which is so important now, is to kind of recharge and find focus again. So I have a couple questions, and I encourage everyone to, if you do have questions, go ahead and type them and we'll be able to see them in the next few minutes. So 2 questions for you. How do you practice gratitude or even start being grateful? Where's the starting point? Do you plan to do it every day? Do you plan to do it certain times of the day? Where do you even start with that in your life?
I think I would start, once you have that feeling of gratitude, you know what it feels like, and you look for other ways to have that feeling again. But I think to start putting yourself in touch with it, I would start at the end of the day, whether you're in bed getting ready to sleep, or you're winding down and you're sitting in a comfortable chair. I would reflect on the day. And I would look at the language that I used, those nice, pleasant things, and you label them that, are really taking for granted language. And go back to those nice, pleasant events or conversations with people and see if it remains that, or in fact, when you think about it, no, it wasn't just pleasant. I am so grateful for it. I had a conversation with an old roommate recently. We talked for 2 hours and we laughed and all, and we walked away. And I was saying to myself, gosh, I feel good from that conversation. And then I said, no, I feel grateful for that relationship. So you're beginning to train yourself to notice good things in your life. Look to see, what if they weren't in your life? You perhaps would miss them. And in missing them, you can now declare that you are grateful to have them in your life. It could be your first cup of coffee and you love the smell of the coffee. What if you didn't have that cup in the morning? You would miss it. And so you are grateful now for that cup of coffee. So you're training yourself to observe things in your life that, in fact, you are grateful for. You also may find that if, to take my grocery line example, that you're starting to get irritated with something. You may even say something unpleasant to someone. But after you leave, you say, now, wait a minute, I don't like the way I handled that. I was seeing the dark. How could I have handled that in a more positive way? So you're just as Lou was saying, you're what your mind says, your mind believes. So look for more opportunities. And as I mentioned in my remarks, what you focus on, what you notice, what you choose grows. And can you imagine, as you begin noticing things to be grateful for, how that is going to expand your life and expand to more and more and more things to be grateful for? Does that help,
That's
Lisa?
lovely. Yes, that's lovely. It's almost like at the end of the day, sort of taking stock of how many moments during that
Yes.
day or events during
Yes.
that day that you actually had that experience, and almost being, again, grateful for those moments, right? So grateful for the grateful moments, right? And then you go to bed
Right.
thinking, wow, I was blessed. Even though it was a hard day, I could find in the minutia of the day moments to be grateful. And you almost go to bed, I would think, with peace, right? Because when you start to shift those even cells or that perception, you feel bigger inside, right? Instead of smaller and kind of being pushed down, you actually feel a little empowered, right? For being in that moment and feeling grateful, because there are those moments, even though you have to look for them sometimes really hard, but maybe they come sooner when you start to think of them because you recognize them throughout the day. And it's a way to go to bed, I think, peaceful. So I like doing that at the end of the day. That's a great suggestion. I think we have quite a few questions actually from the audience. So let me see if I can work through some of these. Okay, so from Elizabeth, she says, one thing I learned decades ago, if you get out of bed, get on your gratitude list before you go to bed, then thank God for everything that you have never thanked him before. I started this in September 2009, and at night it gives you an opportunity to review the days from a positive perspective. What a great idea, Elizabeth. Thank you. Okay, and then let's see. Phil asked this question. Are some people ungrateful by character and predisposition?
Yes, I imagine so. But I'm a great believer that you can change your behavior if you intend to, if that is your desire. You may not go from 0 to 10, but I believe with the intention and the effort, you can shift your behavior and your feelings about that behavior.
I think Maureen posted something. She actually said, Wayne Dyer said, change the way you look at things and the things you look at will change.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
But
I'd
it's
like
sometimes
to add
hard.
I'd like to add something to that too. The more positive people you have around you, the less down you will sink. So if there's a person in your life that tends to be a very negative person, don't shun them. Welcome them into your circle as much as you can, so that they can feel some of that glow from you and other people who tend to be more positive. It can be contagious. Negativity can be contagious too. So you have to be careful. But, I think of throwing a stone on a still water and how you get the ripple effect. And sometimes a positive person, just like Karen's person at Publix, she was spreading joy.
Yes.
And it was contagious, and Karen caught it. And I bet if I had run into Karen after she had left the store, I'd have probably caught it from her without
Mhm.
even seeing the person at Publix.
Yeah.
So, we can change our world one person at a time, even the people who characteristically tend to be the naysayers.
All right. Wow. Pretty magical she is. So we're grateful she joined us today, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
All right. So anyone have any more questions? I have one more if no one else has anything. So if people control their choices like light and dark, can't we just choose to be happy? Is that possible?
I, I wish it were that easy, Lisa.
Hmm.
Happiness is a byproduct, actually. If you think about it and you announce to yourself, I'm going to be happy. Well, how do you do that? Well, how you're happy is by doing things, activities, spending time with people you enjoy. That results in being happy. So it'd be nice if there were a direct line to happy. And I think you can say to yourself, I would like to be more happy, and then look for the ways that make you feel happy. But it's the ways, it's the activities, it's your choices, it's what you're going to focus on that will grow that happiness.
I think, thank you. That's fabulous. You know what? You mentioned people, but I think sometimes things bring us joy. I have a new puppy and she brings me great joy, more joy than sometimes my children. So sometimes it's the things that I'm very grateful for, my puppy. I think Dr. Jim has something he wants to say. Are you there, Jim? Do you want to read this, Jim, or should I read it? Okay, I'll read it. So Dr. Jim says, perfection is a direction, not a goal. I am grateful for each small achievement toward any goal that I believe gives my life meaning. So thank you for that.
Yes.
And Alma, I think she wrote, instead of titling my day to-do list, such as I title it Hope and Dreams for the Day.
Mm,
Wow.
nice.
Wow.
We have
Wow,
a lot of wisdom in our audience today. I'm
Yes,
really
I'm
impressed.
thinking that too, Lucille.
Yeah,
What a
I'm grateful for
wonderful
that.
group. And I think a happy group, a grateful group.
Well, we're very grateful for you. This really helps us, to kind of put the pieces of our lives in perspective and to learn new tools on how to live our life positively, right? And gratefully. We are so blessed to have you in our life, TLC. Thank you, Pat, for your vision. Amazing. Bonnie, for your vision and help, your expertise. We're really getting through some of the hardest, darkest days with TLC by our side. We're very blessed. I'm almost in tears, actually. So thank you guys for what you do, because it's changing our lives, to be able to look at grateful and forgiveness and gratitude, and to really, have the tools in our toolbox to get through some of the hardest, darkest days. So thank you guys.
So, as Lisa mentioned, we're a nonprofit organization and all of our services are free of charge. However, we do need some funds to pay for some of our expenses and appreciate donations. And if you go to our website, you will see, and our website is tlc-services.org, and you'll see that donate button, that yellow donate button on our information and events page. And on that page, you will also find information about upcoming events and a lot more information about who we are.